look, I tell my staff, you can always turn it down later, but it's really tough to go into a situation low and then try to crank it up. So I'll give you my philosophy in a nutshell. Success is built on relationships. Love is spelled with time, and you have to invest in people and get them to buy into your vision with time, love, and building those relationships. So the first thing I start out with, whether it's a recruiting deal, whether it's my staff, anything, when I say success is built on relationships, think about everything in your life that you've ever gotten, that you've ever accomplished. All right. If it's worth mentioning, you probably didn't do it on your own. You probably had some people that supported you, whether that was emotionally, financially, whatever it was. You had some people that allowed you to go and chase whatever it was that you did for you to make those accomplishments. So I tell everybody, we don't do things on our own. All right. And then when you get into a culture and you get into a program, like it's funny because on the strength coach cesspool on Twitter right now that is going on, like I've been referred to many times as, well, he's a culture guy. I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Oh gosh.
I don't know. When you look at my email signature, like it doesn't have all my letters and accolades and degrees on the back of my signature, right? Like, listen, I got to be certified, guys, but they don't pay me any more money whether I'm a master strength coach or whether I'm freaking in this certification or that certification. All right. And so for me, what I know, and I've told my staff this, is I know that I can help a team get them from where they are and get them closer to where they want to be. And I can do it collectively. And I know that I can do it individually. I know that I can gain the trust of the players that I coach. Maybe we don't have the best program physiologically that goes on paper. All right. But I know this, what we do in this room, we execute at a really high level. And I know that there are not many places that execute at the level that we do. And I'm not saying that guys can't do it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, there are more people that have trouble with that than people who don't. So Maryland has been the hardest job that I've ever had in my career. It's also been the most rewarding, but I love our football team. I love our guys on this team. I love what they stand for, what they represent. We had some guys that made decisions to say that I want to come back. And there's nothing more gratifying as a coach. And when you get players who are NFL ready that call you and say, Coach, are you leaving this year? Like, what are you talking about? I want to come back, but I'm not coming back if I have to change position coaches and strength coaches. I'd rather just declare for the draft. To me, that's what it's about. Like, that's the greatest compliment that I've gotten in my entire career. So I guess if people want to call me a culture guy, I'm okay with it. All right. I know that I can coach a clean really well. I can coach a squat really well. I know how to program. I know how to do all of that. But I told you that we'd get back to this in the program. And like, people say, what did you like? What was the point that you took from Alabama, this and that? Here's the magic. The magic is, how can I get people to want to do the things that normal people don't want to do? Like, how can I get them to do that? How can I get people to feel like if they're not a part of this, then they got FOMO, like they're missing out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And right now, that's what we got with our team. Like, I'm telling you guys, you can't, this team's not going to flinch. You can't make this team. There's no amount of work that you can throw at my guys where they're going to flinch at it or be afraid of. They're going to attack it, and they're going to attack it together. And what I tell my staff, like, that's the magic. We got great coaches, we got great resources, we got great facilities, but I'm telling you, none of that really matters if you don't have the right guys in the room, and we have the right guys in the room.
Yeah, and how are you doing that FOMO with your players, that fear of not missing out? Like, when training at Westside, it's very like cutthroat competition. It is the far right of strength training, like it is. But every time I try to get athletes into that, I always try to find a way to get them in a competition state with each other. Is that how you do it, or what's your method on that?
Yeah, so our off-season program that we run, We call it Terp time. It's a derivative of some of what we did at Alabama. It's very challenging. Some would say physiologically it doesn't make any sense. All right. And here's what the point is of our off-season program. Like, how do you get a team and build them closer through shared adversity? It's really what we do. So I spend the first 3 weeks, the coaches are not there. It's just me and the team. We coach everything. Like every single thing that we do, from the breakdown, the start, the stance, the position, the finish, all of it. We have a way that we do it. What I do is in the beginning of the offseason, I'll kind of give the players what the mindset is going into the year. So this year, what we did, we showed the clip of Marcus Luttrell on the Joe Rogan podcast where he's talking about where he was broken in that lone survivor scene where all his buddies are dead. They fell off the cliff. He's down there. His back's broken. His pelvis is broken. He bit his tongue off. Like, he basically said, you know, he had this pity party for like 3-4 hours, whatever it was. But the you guys know better than I do, but the SEALs thing is like, if you're not dead, then the mission's still on. And so his mindset became, you know what? Let me draw this line in the sand and just focus on crawling to it. And once I crawl to it and get my feet to it, I'll draw another one. And I said, this is what our mindset is going to be every single day. I don't want you to worry about your stats this year. I don't want you to worry about, you know, spring football right now. I don't want you to worry about fall camp. When we come out, we have to make it very singular. So the mindset is today, we're going to draw this line. Your mission for the day is to get your feet to the line. That's it. If we do that, we'll reset it tomorrow. We'll draw the line again. So like, we try to use everything we can to get the players to buy into that. The best part is the third party validation is when the players start getting other players to buy into it. All right. So we go out, and then what I'll do is explain to them, you know, we have a quick 3. Guys, if we don't get the breakdown right and it's not on time and we're not in sync, it's 3 up downs for the whole group or the whole pod at that time. So like, it doesn't seem like a lot. We've had days, man, where those 3 up downs can turn to 30 or 40 really quick on top of all the other work that we're doing.
Yeah.
And it really becomes a pain in the ass. So like, lock in, and then you get other guys that are focused on telling them the same thing. But we use players to help us coach all those things. And then we kind of create this space of where the coaches are going to come back on this day and their job is to apply pressure. We have to see how you respond to pressure. We're not waiting until we get in front of 100,000 people when we're up in Ann Arbor to see how you respond to pressure.
Yeah.
It's going to be now in the indoor around us. And so, and you kind of create this mentality, like, you know, for us at Maryland, we say it all the time. Like, man, we don't expect handouts. We know we ain't getting a handout. We ain't getting a call. We're not getting, you know, they're going to vote us the underdog every week. And we're good with that. We're okay with that because it creates that mentality like it's only about us. And so to me, all of those things are just tangible parts of the culture. But on top of that, how are you spending time with the players and how are you connecting with them? So like we say this year, our 2 biggest points in the offseason were commitment and connection. People are like, well, I don't understand that. Well, if the 3 of us, you guys all know this, right? But if the 3 of us spend time together, we invest with each other, we really get vulnerable with each other, and we talk about some of our issues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now if I walk in and somebody's bothering you, I can't just walk by it now. Now
Right.
I have a
Right.
responsibility to get
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
Right.
But if I don't ever know those things, and I'm like, yeah, I was on the podcast with those guys once. Like, they're pretty good guys, but like, I'm not going to step into that. That's none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
We are very strategic about providing opportunities for our players to be vulnerable with one another. And so the connection comes because we're not connected. The more connected we are, the higher our level of commitment is to one another. And so we did some things this offseason where we took them paintballing together. We just put the players out there and let them, you know, go at it. We took them to a deal in DC. We went to the African American History Museum in DC together as a team. And then we had some one-off events where, you know, my staff will barbecue at the house, have this group over, have that pod over. But all of this stuff was designed to intentionally connect specific groups of our team. And And I think all that is part of it. We accomplished that. I know that was a super long answer for what you
No,
asked for,
No,
but that's
that was
like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
you're
more than
getting
just the training, right?